the Popcorn Here show. I am God's gift, Orlando.
Can't believe you keep doing that.
I'm going to keep it for a little bit. And with me, as always, is Pedro.
Hello, hello.
What's going on, man?
I'm good, man. I'm still trying to get over your God's gift.
Yeah. Whenever God says you're not a gift, then I'll stop,
Fuck.
Whenever he comes down. So we have actually a pretty filled podcast for you guys today. We're going to be breaking down the Spielberg versus Netflix controversy that just happened this week.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to talk about some news in TV and movies, and then we're going to break down some recent trailers that we saw. So, Paige, let's get into it. Let's start off with the Spielberg versus Netflix.
Yeah, I just thought this was funny, and I wanted to talk about it. So, pretty much, Steven Spielberg, a master in his own right,
of course,
is completely butthurt that Netflix is getting kudos for their movies Oscar-wise.
Right. He is a judge on Oscar, right? He is on the board.
He's on the board,
there
exactly.
We go.
So, from the get-go, when Netflix started making, decent movies from the get-go, he was like, no, they're made for TV. They're considered TV movies. They should just be qualified for Emmys, not Oscars. And then you had Alfonso Cuarón do an amazing movie that got all the Oscar artsy love.
Right.
Exactly everything the Oscar loves, they made a movie like that. They even made it in fucking black and white. Doesn't get more Oscar-y than that. And
I'm thinking about the artist right now.
Yeah, I'm thinking about the artist. And yeah, it wins all these awards. And Steven Spielberg is just like, yo, I do not agree with this shit. So I was going to ask you, do you agree with him or do you disagree?
This is one of those old man kind of stands where like you're a clock, man. Like your time is ticking and you're not catching up to what, what the current trend is.
Mm-hmm.
It's 2019 and like streaming is everything now.
Yeah. He's pretty much, And he also hates on movies that are only put into theaters for like a week or two and then they get Oscar nominated as well.
Right. He basically wants the movie to get recognized. He basically wants to keep them separate. He thinks if they're on Netflix, they should win Emmys, not Oscars, because that's a cinema thing.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if does he have any shares in cinema in terms of like stock hold? Like, is he own like a major stock in cinema? Because
in theaters, you mean?
Theaters, because no one's arguing this, that heavy, No
one is. Here's my argument with him. He has this belief that the Oscars is only for the theater, for movies in the theater cinematic experience. When I always felt, which I'm sure many others feel, the Oscars is about the art of film.
Right.
He should be congratulating the art of the film rather than the fact that it was on screen for people to watch in a big screen and made money. So, yeah, I completely disagree with that. It's definitely an I'm old type mentality.
Right, of course.
Which is crazy because, Steven Spielberg is fucking Steven Spielberg. He's awesome. So it's kind of weird seeing him like, the future. A man that's all about the future, with all his movies and shit like that and his movie making skills. And it's all like, no, the future has to stop here because I don't want people to have movies at the touch of their fingertips that can get Oscar nominated. It's just weird.
Yeah,
it's very elitist.
It's weird because he's a visionary. So you're ahead of when it comes to cinema, you have been ahead of the time constantly, and it's funny that for this you're like,
this is where you cross the line.
You're being an old dinosaur, and so I was looking at this post that I saw, and I completely thought it just ended the argument entirely.
Okay.
So it's a quote from Steven Spielberg saying, once you commit to television format, you're a TV movie. He said in an interview last year. You certainly, if you're a good show, you deserve an Emmy, but not an Oscar. I don't believe films that are just given token qualifications in a couple of theaters for less than a week should qualify for the Academy Award nomination. So it's like you said, like if they're in theaters for just a couple of weeks, he doesn't want them to be included in the award ceremony. And Netflix rebuttal to that was, we love cinema. Here are some things we also love. Access for people who can't afford or live in small towns without movie theaters. Letting everyone everywhere enjoy releases at the same time and giving filmmakers more ways to share art. These things are not mutually exclusive.
Absolutely, absolutely.
And with that, argument is done. Like,
yeah, that's it.
And it's funny because, you know, we're lucky enough to live in a pretty like busy place, you know, Miami, where theaters and supermarkets are right around the corner. But if you ever travel to anywhere like rural, like literally it's miles and miles until
something civilization,
until civilization, exactly. And so
let's say I'm a movie buff in the middle of fucking nowhere. It's like,
exactly. So why? And it's an elitist thing. Like, you don't recognize the problem because this was never a problem for you. You're surrounded by movies. You make movies. You have the privilege to go to watch movies. Some of these people on the ceremony, they get movies shipped to them. You know, they have like an actual special projector for these people. Like, they can watch these movies in they're elitists in that sense. They have this privilege to watch these movies whenever they want. And I'm sure Steven Spielberg hasn't been to a proper cinema in years. He doesn't have to. He probably has a movie theater in his own fucking house.
His living room is probably his theater.
Exactly. So like, he doesn't know that like some people don't have access to that. You know, I mean, granted, he's been famous and probably rich since like the fucking 80s, 70s, 60s. You know, he's never probably had to have that problem. So you probably are detached from civilization at that point.
He's just definitely out of the loop. That's for sure.
He's an old dinosaur.
And pretty much, which is unfortunate. But see, I'm one of the first ones to say that I would never get rid of the theater experience for nothing. Like, even when Netflix was like really hitting its stride, I was like, I fucking love Netflix. And if they start bringing in all these movies, don't get me wrong, I'm gonna watch them. But at the end of the day, I still want to go to the theater.
Right.
Like Ghibli Fest. I own these movies. I can watch them anytime I want, but they're coming in the theater experience. Like Spirited Away and stuff like that. I'm like, I'm gonna watch it to get the theater experience. I'm giving them my money to do it. Right. So yeah.
And the thing is,
but that's because I'm fortunate enough to be near a theater that can do it, and I can choose that. But I'm also at the same time will say, fuck yeah, it's on Netflix. Hell yeah, everyone can enjoy it now, not just me that's fortunate enough to have money and a place to actually watch it.
Yeah, so. and the thing is, it's one of those things where it's evolve or die. You know, the cinema industry is afraid of Netflix and Hulu and all of these streaming services because they're coming for their wallet.
Right.
And people don't, you know, as you know, we're seeing a trend now in movies because it's superhero movies right now, basically the trend, and they're doing really well. But
which is funny. I think biopics is going to be the new one.
Yeah.
I don't think it'll last long, but it's definitely going to peak.
Yeah, it is so far, especially with Queen doing so well.
And then Rocket Man.
And that looks fucking good, though.
Yeah. No, they do.
Yeah. And so, you know, I think these trends exist because, well, it's what's working, obviously, and we can't take risk right now because the minute we let our foot off the gas, like Netflix is there with buying, you know. I think there's a movie right now with like Oscar Isaac, Ben Affleck, Triple Frontier, something like that.
Triple Frontier, yeah, it's got Chris Hunnam and everything.
Yeah, everybody. And that movie is a Netflix exclusive, and that is a movie that would have came out in theaters and probably did pretty well if it had good advertisement, you know, because you have fucking A-listers up the ass.
You have big names, exactly.
Yeah. So, you know, the cinema can't put their foot off the gas because like they're coming for you. And so you have to find a way to draw people to like your theater. And A-list is one of the reasons why people have A-list now. Mondo loves A-list.
Oh, hell yeah.
You love A-list.
I love it too, but he won't shut up about it.
Movie Pass. Like, it's one of those things where competition just breeds a better product for the consumer at the end of the day. And so, like, I don't know, man, for Spielberg to be so gung-ho for this, he has to have like major like stock in like
maybe
it's because the thing is nobody else is bringing it up. So it's like, what do you own a stake in AMC? Like, what's happening?
Well, I feel like the reason why he's overreacting like this is because he feels like, damn, that's it. The theater experience is completely over. Like, no one's going to want to go to the theater. Everything's going to be Netflix. Maybe, but I still don't see.
But that's the thing, though. Like,
but I still don't see the theater experience being extinct.
Right,
they might be more exclusive. Sure.
Yeah, me neither, though. And the thing is,
but I don't see them. I don't see them stopping fully.
And the thing is, at the end of the day, like,
and why should that qualify for an Oscar?
Yeah, and the thing is, if for movie theaters, like, if Netflix takes you out, right, and the theaters become obsolete for some odd reason.
Okay.
Well, not obsolete, but it's because you didn't evolve.
Mm-hmm.
It's not Netflix's fault. Like, at the end of the day, a company's job is to make money. And Netflix went from DVDs and said, "Hey, remember when Netflix dropped their DVDs?" And people were like, "Oh, you're fucking crazy.
Mm-hmm.
We don't want to watch movies. We want DVDs, and we want to like make sure we can watch everything that we want, and we don't care if it gets shipped." People lost their mind, and Netflix was like, "Nah, we're gonna drop DVDs, and if you want them, it's on a different website, same company kind of, but we're just gonna drop it."
Yeah.
And look what happened. Netflix fucking took a small hit, but then fucking ran with it. You know?
And at the end of the day, there are still channels. There's still TV.
Exactly. And
it's not over.
It's not over. And you just can't tell another company to not do something because you're afraid that you're going to go out of business.
Mm-hmm.
You have to evolve. Like, you have to find a way.
Yeah.
And the thing is, I think movie theaters slowly are getting to that point where they're finding ways to get consumers in, like the reclining chair and the luxury seats and
the bars
and movies. Yeah, dude, like you have to, if you're afraid that Netflix is going to steal away the actual movie, then make your shit an experience.
Mm-hmm.
Make it, which they're doing.
Absolutely.
And so I don't think movie theaters are going to go away anytime soon. I feel like there is, the box office seems to be pretty steady. Like, movies are coming out and they're making.
There's even certain articles that say due to these services, like MoviePass when it was in its prime before it fucking nosedived, and A-list and all that more people are actually going in.
And at the end of the day, movie theaters, at the end of the year, you have to get them in, but movie theaters don't make money off of movies. They make money off concession. We all know this. I mean, not we all know this, but anyone who's ever looked it up that's why food is so expensive at movie theaters. It's because they make their money off inflating the prices of food.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why you can't bring any outside food into movie theaters. That's how they make their money. Of course, they have to get you in and they get you in with their movies, but at the end of the day, if a movie's on Netflix and a movie's on a movie theater, like, I don't know. Like, for example, like Spider-Verse, if it was on Netflix and it was in the movie theater, I would go watch the movie theater. Like, there are some movies that you just gotta go watch in a movie theater.
I would have definitely watched it in theaters. Absolutely. Yeah. It was just an eyegasm. It's not exactly the same thing, but another parallel, I guess, of what his fear is I remember when the Kindle came out and everyone was like, oh, you get to buy your books digitally. It's all going to be in the pad. Books are extinct. Nah, dude. Amazon's still selling books. Barnes & Noble's still kicking.
Right.
People still love the smell and the feel of a book.
Right.
I still prefer books over digitally reading because when I lose my fucking page and digitally, I'm like, I like having a bookmark and knowing where it is. Maybe that's my old man mentality, but there's still a thing for it.
I do think that books are going to become obsolete. Not obsolete, but just harder. You're going to see less and less. Barnes & Noble is the only bookstore that's relevant nowadays. And Amazon. That's it.
Right.
You don't really see, if you do see like a mom and pop bookstore, it has like a certain like feel, like a homey feel where like it's not popular, but it does enough to like be open. So yeah, I think books is different though. I feel like books are going to become, especially I don't think a lot of people read in general. I don't think a lot of people do read.
Yeah.
So,
but again, there will
like
always
comics,
be.
Like comics are big. Like I heard that Marvel is doing really bad at the comic division, and Disney's thinking about closing down the comic division.
That was a weird. I would have to read more about it, but that was a weird rumor that sparked from a panel that was worded a certain way.
Yeah.
It was like something along the lines of Marvel heroes from page to screen. I'm paraphrasing, but something like that, and everyone immediately went, whoa, they're gonna stop selling comics and only make movies and shows.
What I was
and
reading,
it's like
what I was reading was is that like not that Marvel's gonna stop, but the comic book industry is going down in a sense of because what's happening is that Marvel has all these events, and for each event you have to buy multiple books, you know, so that all coincide with that event.
Yeah.
And so then
you got a crazy, I'm the first one to say, you got a crazy checklist
and so then
with 80 comics, and you're like, I ain't going to read that.
And then the comic book store has to buy all of these comics, you know? They have to stock up on these comics so they have them in stock so you buy them, but then no one buys 80 books to get caught up with this event, you know? And then the comic book store takes the hit because it has to have this stock, you know? So that's what I was reading, where like comic book stories are gonna like have a decline because of that. Because like you're trying to sell events, but then you're trying to sell multiple books with the same story, like written throughout like 20 books, and no one's gonna buy 20 books, and then I have to stock these 20 books.
Yeah, but people say that until the big event comes in. Like when Batman was getting married, everyone fucking bought those. There's always gonna be something that'll bring them in.
Right.
They killed off Superman in the 90s so people can buy books again. No one's buying books anymore. Let's do an event and people will still buy it. People will still eat those events, even though we all hate it. They'll do it.
Right.
It's funny you say that. I just looked up, Marvel to stop comics and whatever, and there's an article from like a little more than a year ago talking about they think that they're going to do that too. Again, this is just all like maybe in the future,
Right.
but I don't see that happening.
I don't see it happening
anytime
either
soon.
because like at the end of
The
the
Marvel
day,
movies are so freaking big that people are, of course, it's nowhere near as much as people buying the movies, but people are going into the comic shop
Yeah.
with no prior knowledge of this other than the movies, and they're picking up a few issues here and there. I don't think they'll stop.
I think also what it is as well is that people are gonna buy comic books as these movies come out as just like talking pieces. Like, yeah, I saw Black Panther, and here's my Black Panther issue 1 I got for $50 at the store. Like, it's just one of those things where like,
I think it's more like talking points.
yeah,
rather
like
than,
it's like just kind of like,
hey, I'm a comic book fan. I bought one once.
to be part of the like, you know, to be part of the
fad.
Yeah, the fad, the trend. And so I don't know, man. And the thing is like these movies from Disney like standpoint has gotten you so much money. Just how much money is the comic book division really like costing?
Oh no,
you?
it's a fraction. I saw that they did a pie chart once, and it was, I mean, I barely remember it, but it was like less than 10%. Just to give
like,
you,
just
to give you a number out of my ass,
Yeah.
less than 10% to keep that it's generating compared to film and merchandise and all that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's like just keep it open. Like just like if it's not really that much money that if it's not much money that's costing you to keep it open, just keep it open because you're gonna still have diehard fans.
Yeah.
Not to go on a weird tangent about Marvel, but yeah, like,
But,
to end the Spielberg Netflix thing, Spielberg is an old dinosaur, Netflix is the future. Get on point.
Yeah.
You know?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So then let's jump into some news. Speaking about comic books, there's a news story out. Obviously, a few days ago, we learned that Will Smith is not going to be in Suicide Squad 2.
Yes. So, for those not in the know, Suicide Squad 2 is going to have James Gunn directing it. And as James Gunn does, he likes to make everything his own. So, he's redoing the whole shebang. He's trying to bring up, trying to fix up Suicide Squad. Almost like a soft reboot, people keep saying. So, I guess what he was doing, Will Smith didn't like it. No one really knows why, but Will Smith dropped out.
Scheduling conflicts.
With like Bad Boys, maybe?
Probably. That's what I read. It was scheduling conflicts. It's not
I guess that could make a little more sense.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I mean, Will Smith is tied to like, Aladdin right now. It looks complete trash. Like clearly he's made bad decisions in terms of movies. Like
right. And then one of the funniest ones was Matrix.
Yeah.
Yeah. But so Suicide Squad 2 is happening. And there's a lot of talk about who's going to replace Will Smith now that he's out. And the big one now is apparently Idris Elba is in talks. And word is from the Hollywood Reporter that he's the first and only choice from James Gunn. James Gunn really wants him. And they said that they've been meeting. So how do you think about that one?
I mean, honestly, it's going to be interesting, man, honestly. Like I can't think of anybody else to replace him. Will Smith in that.
Besides Idris, you mean?
Right. I can't really think of it. Like,
he's the best leading black man right now when it comes to action films.
Yeah, exactly. And so
I mean, he's knocking it out the park with freaking Hobbs and Shaw and everything. He's the man.
There isn't that much prominent black actors that are like, you know, like leading man. Like you have right now, Michael B. Jordan is like the new Will Smith right now. Yeah, he's like the young Will Smith right now. Yeah. Goofball, corny, everyone loves him.
If they went with a Suicide Squad prequel, well, then sure, you'll get Michael B. But this is a sequel. You got to get an older seasoned guy.
I'm talking about just black people in general. Like who? I can't think of anybody else. It's him, Idris Elba, Will Smith, Denzel. But Denzel's already old.
No, he's already old. And he's not. He's.
Is there anybody else? Really? That's what we have. I think anybody else like leading.
Well, we've had this conversation between you and me.
Chadwick Boswick.
Chadwick Boseman. Yeah. But
he's Marvel. Yeah,
exactly. I was like, he's untouchable right now. He's in the Marvel.
Yeah.
But we've always talked about that having leading actor material doesn't really exist anymore. Like for a movie to survive off of the actor's name alone, that doesn't really exist anymore. It doesn't happen anymore. Yeah. I like to say that only The Rock has that power now, and even that fails from time to time.
Yeah. Rock has some slip ups for sure.
He does. But that doesn't exist anymore because we were talking about the days of like you would put Arnold's name on it, you know, or even Tom Cruise was probably one of the last ones.
Yeah, I think
where name alone.
Do you think his name still carries? Mummy bombed.
The Mummy bombed, but I think the Mummy bombed also because it was a bad movie.
I don't think his name's carried though. I think
you think the series, the Mission Impossible series,
Mission Impossible series. Think about it, like Night and Day. Didn't do well.
No, it didn't. It was a good movie, but
Jack
it didn't do well.
Reacher did okay.
Edge of Tomorrow did good, I think.
Edge of Tomorrow, I'm not sure.
That's a good question.
But Jack Reacher did okay.
Yeah, you're right. His name doesn't carry.
No, I don't think anyone's name truly carries.
So that's tough already because they could really get anyone, but if it'll survive, they need a big name. And big names for an older black man to replace Will Smith's character, Deadshot, Idris is the man.
Man, yeah, it's kind of weird.
Are you excited?
Not really, honestly. I'm excited in the sense it's James Gunn, you know?
Right.
It's fucking James Gunn, and, you know, Guardians of the Galaxy 1 is phenomenal. 2 is pretty good. Not as great as 1, but still good movies. And at the end of the day, he has a visual style that's super unique, very creative. And then he also has quirky writing, you know?
Yeah.
And I feel like
quirky, dark comedy
and I feel
type
like
writing. Because I remember Slither, one of his early movies. Those things that movie was crazy.
Yeah, that movie was pretty bad.
No, I actually really liked it.
Oh, actually, no, wait. I'm thinking about another movie. I'm thinking about the Agent Brody movie that I'm always confusing with.
Splice? That's completely different.
Right, I'm thinking about Splice. Yeah.
What were you going to say, though?
I do think it's a good choice for Idris Elba to be Deadshot. I don't know, man. I'm not really DC Universe movies aren't that exciting to me, so I really can't.
That's right. You didn't care for Aquaman.
I didn't.
Yeah.
I didn't. So
I see DC on the up and up, and you just see DC being DC.
Yeah.
Okay.
So who else is coming back? Is the rest of the cast coming back, or
Margot Robbie and
what about BET?
Who's the woman that played Amanda Waller again?
Viola Davis.
Viola Davis. Yes, Viola Davis. That's her.
Is BET coming back?
Who?
I want BET. That guy from.
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah. Killmonger?
Okay.
No, not Killmonger.
Killer Croc.
Who's Killmonger?
Killmonger is Michael B. Jordan.
Oh, right. Sorry, man.
Your brain's out there.
Yeah. Killer Croc. Yeah. That series does. Suicide Squad already, one movie in, needs a reboot. Like, needs something to change.
That's crazy, but it is what it is. But I think James Gunn can fix it.
Yeah.
I'm not excited for it. I'm just very curious. Not excited, just curious. Because he definitely has an interesting, just style to him. Writing style.
I'm pretty excited to see the cinematography of it all. Because James Gunn has a way of showcasing, teamwork very well. At least in the Guardian movies. Where it's kind of like...
Yeah, he does know how to do an ensemble cast.
He does know how to do an ensemble cast in terms of what the Avengers movies do really well and what the Guardians movies do really well, where everybody's fighting, but it's so in sync and it just flows into one character into another character fighting it. And it's not it's cuts, but it all culminates into this great cinematic piece. So I'm kind of excited to see like what he does in that format. But I feel like Suicide Squad didn't really have that. It was kind of like jumbled up, like their scenes. I feel like he's gonna bring some like stylish art form to that. So in that sense, I'm excited for it.
Yeah.
But I mean, like I said, DC Universe for me is just meh.
Yeah, we'll see how that one goes. Now that we're talking about James Gunn, I'm gonna flip it over to Brightburn.
Right, the trailer that dropped.
We saw that trailer today because the newest one just dropped today. And I'm digging it. It's got the vibe of his old movies, his old dark movies.
Yeah.
So we'll see where that one goes. It's just pretty much an Elseworld Superman story from hell.
For sure. Yeah. At first I was like, what is this, Damien? And then you're like, no, Superman. And then the cape, the red eyes, the symbol.
Yeah, he landed. It looks like an alien. And sure, he's not the writer, but he's attached to it. He's the producer. His brothers worked on it.
Clearly,
so
like he has
a hand
on it for sure.
Yeah.
It looks good. It looks very good. It
looks really disturbing, and I'm digging that. I like that.
It'd be cool. Honestly, we don't know how the movie's gonna end, but hopefully he doesn't die. Because I would like to see him as an adult.
Oh yeah,
how that looks. Yeah, because see it continue, and then maybe they could flip it where whatever his peoples are called, but obviously the Superman universe, Kryptonians come down, Zod, and he has to save the Earth. What if
they're all psychopaths?
Maybe they're not. Maybe what if maybe they shipped him out because he was bad.
Huh? I guess they could go that too.
Maybe they shipped him out because he was like, oh shit, this kid's gonna fuck our world up, and that planet never blew up, and so they sent him to Earth, and they're like, oh wait, we can't do that to these people. Let's save them.
That'd
be pretty dope.
I actually can't rule that out because it seems like something that's in that line of his style.
Yeah.
And that family style.
And also how they're going to stop him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
the only one. There's got to be some kryptonite-like weakness.
Unless that's what it is, some kryptonite version of whatever.
Right. But I'm liking the style of it because in this day and age, we're getting nothing but cape movies. The superhero, what do they call it? Fatigue.
Right.
So why not release one and change it up a bit? And I think this one is the change that we need. And it's it looks, I wouldn't say it's low budget, but it looks very low key.
Right.
And
it doesn't look like it has a lot of set pieces.
Yeah, like big budgets. Right.
Yeah, it's not like they're going traveling to different set pieces, going to snow and winter. Because every super movie has that where they have to travel to another country and to find something else. This is small town, disaster basically, conflict from this kid.
Yeah, horror thriller.
Yeah.
So I'm really excited for this movie.
Budget wise, it's probably gonna succeed on that alone because since they don't have to do so many changes.
You're probably right.
Yeah,
I'm very excited for this one. And just to continue on our trailer binge, Dark Phoenix came out. The newest trailer for Dark Phoenix.
Yeah, what'd you think?
I am gonna watch it. I've watched all the other ones. I might as well watch this one, but it definitely does look better than Apocalypse because I really did not like Apocalypse.
Right. I mean, it's funny because when you saw the trailer for Apocalypse, did you like it or just in general? Obviously, just in general, Apocalypse was not good in my opinion.
The trailer didn't even look good for Apocalypse though, because I wasn't feeling. I didn't like from the get-go, and we've spoken about this too, it's always fucking Magneto as the villain. Every fucking time Magneto's the villain. Magneto's always the damn villain. So when we saw Apocalypse, we were like, oh, here it comes again. He's the villain again. He found peace, but something bad's going to happen. So, yeah, and this one, judging by the trailer, it looks like Magneto's actually going to have to work together with the X-Men to stop Phoenix and the Hellfire Club and all the other stuff that they're going to introduce. They're going to introduce the alien origin of Phoenix, no doubt, because they showed them going into space and whatnot. So I am not excited for it, but I'm curious about how they're finally going to end it, because after this, Disney's going to take full reign over the mutants, no doubt.
The thing is that at the end of the day, the X-Men universe has been going on for way longer than the Marvel universe, probably 18 years already. Yeah, 18 years. It's It's a 7th film in the franchise, and it's been going on for 18 years. And so this movie, like the whole revamp of the X-Men universe, fixes like Last Stand, basically, which is Bryan Singer's like 3rd film, X-Men film.
Yeah. It was he didn't do Bryan Singer didn't do the 3rd one actually.
Oh, he didn't do it. Okay, he did 1 and 2.
He was doing Superman Returns, so they got somebody else to do the X-Men.
And so Days of Future Past fixed that.
Yeah.
And then at the end of the day,
it still brought it into a continuity, but fixed it. It retconned it, but it didn't pretty much say, "Oh, this never happened." No, it said, "Here it is. Now we're erasing it within the story."
Yeah, which is weird because since the timeline, whatever threat they face is never, it's never the end.
Of course.
Because you see the future. So it's just like...
Well, the future changed with Days of Future Past. Everything's going differently. Things are happening different. Like Mystique is on the team.
Oh, so now it's a new path.
Now. From first class. Technically, Days of Future Past is where it's supposed to diverge because that's when they learned from the other timeline.
So Days of Future Past changes everything, and then it sets them on a new path. So
yes.
It's not the same path.
It's not the same path. That's
so
why
X-Men 1 never happened in this universe.
X-Men 1 did not happen in this universe. Exactly.
Oh, fascinating. I thought because I remember them. I remember there was a part where they went to the future, and Jean Grey's there, and Logan's there, and he's like, "Oh shit, I get to see her again." Like he's holding her and shit.
Right. Separate timelines, man.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm. So this is X-Men First Class, Days of Future Past. This is this new timeline. Oh, that's why Mystique's on the team. That's why like all this stuff is different.
So I guess
Beast is still on the team.
Right. So Logan's universe is, because I'm thinking about something in Logan, the movie Logan, ties in with the original three. It's the same Logan, obviously.
Right, you would think, but maybe that could be its own separate one. Who the fuck knows? I'm just glad that one was as standalone as possible.
Right.
So I was really cool with that.
Yeah.
In my mind, the Logan one is its own separate entity, another divergent of
the universe.
Timeline. Yeah.
Fuck. All right.
It's confusing, but yeah, nothing from part 1 and on has happened because it's a totally different thing.
Okay, so that's what I thought. I thought this was all still connected. I was like, this doesn't matter. But now that you're saying that, okay, well, it does matter. But once again...
Yeah, this is Phoenix for the first time.
It still doesn't matter because this is the end of the X-Men universe.
Yep. After this, Disney's Marvel takes over. And then we'll see what they do from there.
So, I'm not really excited for it, honestly. I do like these movies. I think they're pretty decent at best. Like, I don't think they're bad.
No, I don't think there's anything that's bad, but they do have some that are like, oof. Like, to me, part 3 and Apocalypse are, ugh.
Yeah.
You can avoid these.
I agree.
And obviously, the one we never speak of, but I'll speak of it anyways, the first Wolverine movie.
Garbage, right.
We do not speak of that one.
Right. And so, which Deadpool 2, like, retconned anyway.
Yeah. in its own Deadpool way.
Yeah. And so, I'm not really excited for it. I don't really care much for even the actors that have taken over these roles. Like, I don't think any of them are strong enough except for, like, obviously James McAvoy and the guy who plays Magneto.
Oh, and Jennifer Lawrence.
Yeah. I don't really like her in the Mystique role, honestly. I liked Elizabeth Banks, I think. Who was it? That wasn't the original.
Rebecca Romijn?
I did like Rebecca Romijn. Did you not like her?
Yeah, no, she was great.
Yeah, I liked her. I don't really like I said, I don't really like anyone's take on these characters, really. I like the original cast better.
Okay.
Yeah. How do you feel about the old class versus the new class?
Well, in the new class, the only ones that are worth a damn in the new class, honestly, are the Professor and Magneto. Those are the only two that are worth a damn. Like you said.
Yeah.
Everyone else is pretty weak. Like, I didn't give a shit about the new Jean Grey, even though it's Sansa. I didn't care about the new Cyclops. And we're supposed to care about these. You know who did kind of steal the show, though? Quicksilver. That's about it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's about it. Yeah.
Because we had that Quicksilver, and then we had You Didn't See It Coming Quicksilver, which no one really gives a shit about. So
I like Beast.
So there you go. Three characters like,
I like Beast Boy. Beast Boy's alright. Yeah, I like
Beast, not Beast Boy.
Beast, sorry. Yeah, Beast Boy's from DC. Sorry.
Yeah.
Beast, yeah.
Not the same.
Then. Yeah, he's alright. He's alright. But yeah, I'm not really excited for it. And I was reading an article that obviously it doesn't tie into the Marvel universe, but Kevin Feige did review the script, I guess, to see the tone of it all. Maybe, who knows what's gonna happen? Like, if he's gonna introduce the same characters into the universe, if he's going to retcon that and bring in new characters.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think? How do you think it's gonna?
How do I think they're gonna tie it in?
Yeah,
I think they're gonna pull what they did with Andrew Garfield. They're just gonna be like, it never fucking happened, and just bring in Tom Holland, young, whole new origin, whole new thing, and just call it a fucking day. I have no doubt in my mind that that's exactly what they're gonna do with the mutants, Fantastic Four, and whatever properties they're gonna start using.
right.
So this is just the final ship you wave to, and that's it. And then you just gotta wait for the new one to come in. I think it's gonna be a whole new makeover from top to bottom.
Okay.
And I think it's for the better, honestly.
Yeah.
Because this X-Men series, like we spoke about, has a lot of downs. Not a lot of downs, but it has its downs to the point where Kevin Feige's like, nah, I don't want to bring that shit over here. So.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's a certain caliber. Like, Marvel movies are always great at pretty much. Like, they're never like lower than like a fucking like 7 on like.
Right.
Like, the consensus is always, they're always good movies.
Yeah, they're all at least worth a watch. The lowest, the weakest is worth a watch still.
And so, yeah, you have to. There really isn't anyone to save from that universe. I do think, though, from the Fox universe, I think he's going to like let Ryan Reynolds and Deadpool continue on.
Yeah, I could.
He's already said that he wants to keep it R-rated. He's like, you know what? It's already R-rated. Fucking let it be R-rated.
That was actually Bob Iger that said that.
From Disney,
which is even crazier because he's the head of Disney.
Right.
So for him to say that, that's law.
Yeah.
Because Kevin Feige can probably say it, and at the end of the day, Bob Iger can be like, nah. But Bob Iger said he sees money in the rated R.
Right.
So you're right. Ryan Reynolds will stay.
I think Ryan Reynolds is the only one that's safe from it. And then at the end of the day, like...
But his character is so break the fourth wall that you can do all the changes you want and it can still stay within character, within like... It could all still make sense.
They did that in Deadpool 2 where he like goes to the mansion and he's just like, where are you guys? Why is it always fucking like Cyclops?
Right. And then you see the cast from...
And it's clearly like a green screen that they're on. And they just close the door. And it was like, all right. So...
Well, and the other one, yeah, exactly. You just see it's them. The first class.
The first class, yeah, that's there. They just close the door on him so they don't see him. So they could do something similar with that, honestly. So they don't really need to introduce him and he can stay his like separate thing. Which I like because...
It's the fact that he's not a serious character that saves him from coming back constantly.
And what I do like about Deadpool and other superheroes is that his villains, the shit he goes through is very just, he's like a street level superhero. So he doesn't deal with like
apocalypse
stuff. That's not his thing.
The world is ending. I just want someone to shoot.
Yeah, you don't call me for that. Exactly.
Yeah.
So
like whatever. Yeah.
So it's gonna be fine. Yeah, I'm interested to see how they ended on, and like maybe they can wrap it up. I think I'm not. I'm not
as far as Dark Phoenix.
Yeah, I'm not sure if they knew that this was gonna be the end, but hopefully they have a good ending that like allows you to wrap it up.
Right.
Like in a nice.
People that are a fan of this timeline, this series, can be like, okay, they had a good run.
Right.
Now let's see what's next. Unlike Amazing Spider-Man 2, they kind of ended on the most cliffhanger of cliffhangers.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And it's like, damn, you ended this universe like that? That's fucked up for the fans, you know? But, yeah,
I
exactly.
just thought about that. I just thought about, there was a moment, I think, where, like...
I think I watched it in the theater with you. I can't remember.
I think there was, like, a deleted scene that, like, he was at the grave and somebody was going to come up, like, I think their parents, or was going to come out of nowhere, their dad.
Oh, the whole plot line that they're actually alive and they're secret agents or something.
Some shit like that. Something was going to happen, like they were thinking about doing, like, oh shit, that would have been interesting.
Yeah, they're fucking...
That universe wasn't that bad. Like, 2 was not a good movie, but it wasn't a bad movie. It could have...
It didn't deserve the hate it got.
It didn't.
It was...
His Spider-Man was on point.
Yes.
His Peter Parker, not so much.
It's unfortunate.
Yeah. But yeah, so we'll see what happens there. And what else we got going on in terms of news?
Well, news, let's get right to what I've been excited to talk about. So we have the new Game of Thrones trailer.
Yeah.
Season 8, long awaited. We had 2 years. And shit, we saw it. It looks fucking awesome.
Yep.
I can't wait. And I guess we're going to kind of get into the trailer a bit and maybe what we think is going to go on with the show. So if you're interested in watching Game of Thrones and you've never seen it before, you're not caught up.
You're missing a season or two or an episode or two.
Yeah. You could stop right now because
Yeah.
it's just going to be Game of Thrones talk from here on out. So bye. And for those of you that are staying, let's talk about it. The trailer looks awesome.
What'd you think, man? Opening up with Sansa. Arya, sorry.
Yeah.
Whatever.
It's all right, man. It's been a year and change.
Yeah.
We're forgetting a little bit, but we
Arya
know.
seen many faces of death, and she's excited to see this one. Who is she going to kill? Who is she talking about?
I mean, I automatically think that she's talking about the White Walkers. Like she's prepared to start fucking up some White Walkers.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, obviously, the one of the more obvious ones is she wants to finally kill the queen.
Right.
The one that started everything.
Everything, yeah.
Of her demise, but I don't know. I really think it's just the final battle for the White Walkers, which you kind of see everyone getting in. And isn't it crazy that Jaime Lannister ends up being one of the fucking favorites? Like I'm completely rooting for him, especially when he came on the trailer. I was like, "Fuck yeah, dude!" He started off,
but he's always been a favorite, though, dude.
You're right, he has, but it's just crazy looking at how his character has grown. I know we mentioned it before, but it's still mind blowing. Like this motherfucker was banging his sister and threw a kid off the freaking castle trying to kill him.
Yeah, but
look how far he's gone.
I don't know, man. He's always been a scumbag, but he's always had like morals. You know, he's had
redeeming features.
Yeah, always.
Because we've always talked about this show's always been about fucked up people.
Right.
Everyone has their moments, except for the Starks. They're for the most part barely fucked up.
Yeah.
Everyone else has their moments of like, damn.
And the thing is, when the Starks fuck up, most of them don't have a chance to redeem themselves.
This is true. Yeah, the fuck up was kind of like, peace out.
It's like, don't marry that girl. I'm gonna marry her mom.
Yeah,
fuck
man.
Fuck up, and then so.
I was surprised this trailer showed the dragons because I'm always expecting that they got to work on those dragons for a long time before they look good enough to show. You know, you got to give it all those passes, those special effects, and they're showing them, and they look freaking awesome.
Well,
and it looks like they're finally gonna ride on the dragons
together. Like they were walking towards it, and yeah, they look like they're about to. Hey, let's do this ride. It's who I was expecting to hear in the trailer, and I was just like, oh man, it's interesting that she didn't speak. Was the queen?
The queen, right?
And she had that moment where she's about to sip like a cup of wine or something.
Yeah, and she does like this weird little like sinister smile.
Yeah,
like she looked like she was gonna say something. And she was like, "Well,"
and it's. I'm not sure if that's telling or not. It's just one of those things where like she's like the villain of the series now.
It's completely self-destructive. Like she's got nothing to lose.
Yeah.
And she just wants the whole world to burn with her, which is what we keep talking about. We think it's going to go to she's going to become the Mad King, essentially.
Right.
She's going to become that.
She's almost there, essentially already.
Yeah, people are already calling her that in previous seasons and whatnot. But it's going to finally come to fruition. Like she's going to burn the whole fucking place down.
Yeah.
And hopefully, Jamie's the one to end it. If not, that's fine too. But yeah, man, I'm so excited for this damn show.
What do you think about the episode number? That's pretty short compared to other seasons.
It's a lot shorter, and they're going to be actually movie length.
Oh, so each episode's going to be about 2 hours?
It's going to be about an hour and a half. Yes, last I checked. So
that's fascinating.
Yeah, it's going to be big, and I can't freaking wait.
What did you think about the battle for Winterfell?
Oh yeah, they're already calling it
battle in any film.
Yeah,
meaning movies or television.
Right. They were saying it's going to be longer than like the Battle of Helm's Deep, which if you think about it, that's like half of the Two Towers, Lord of the Rings. And shit, that's going to be insane if it really is that big. That's going to be an entire hour and a half episode.
Yeah. I mean, with that long of a episode, like a lot of people are gonna die. Like,
yeah,
a ton. And I mean, maybe like our favorite characters are going to fall.
Yeah,
in that episode.
For anyone that watches Thrones, we all know that characters die. Characters drop like flies. Like a little lately, not too many of the favorites have been dying, but we all know this is the final season. Yeah, anyone can go. Like absolutely anyone can go at any moment. And I'm kind of excited to see that because I want to know if my favorite will make it. Which I'm Team Tyrion all the way.
Oh, so you think he's gonna become king?
I don't know if he'll become king, but I think he'll make it to the end. No, he wouldn't become king. He'll be a position high up, but I think he'll make it to the end. I'm hoping.
Well, he's also like George R. Martin's like favorite character. So
yeah, this is true.
Yeah. What do you think? I think Arya's gonna die.
I think so too.
I think she was.
I don't think she has much of a character arc going for her right now. It's just vengeance, and I think that they're gonna kind of drop in a little bit of, if you go for vengeance, you're pretty much killing yourself in a way.
Right.
So I think they're gonna go with that. Hey, I don't think she'll make it either.
So, just for clarity, we're talking about a number of episodes, and even in season 7, had 7 episodes.
So how many episodes is 8 gonna have?
It's gonna have 6 episodes.
6 episodes, and last I checked, they're all gonna be movie length, an hour and a half to possibly 2 hours each. So
that's
gonna be awesome.
Yeah, you're right. From the beginning, we wanted to tell a 70-hour movie that turned into a 73-hour movie.
70-hour movie, that's because of the amount of episodes that were total. Because if you look at it, when this season is over, it's going to be 73 episodes total.
Fascinating.
That's what they meant.
Oh, okay, that's what they meant. Okay, yeah, so it's going to be 6 episodes, which is its shortest season ever.
Yeah, but with the way it ended, it kind of ended with literally death at their door. Like the breeze was coming in, and we know that's it. So yeah, this season pretty much seems to me like it's going to be mostly action, at least in the last half.
Is there any? Because now that we're getting towards the end of the show, obviously there's a lot of mystery and a lot of like questions that need to be solved. Is there anything that needs to be wrapped up?
As far as storylines, we need to find out, obviously, when Jon Snow realizes the relation with her.
Right.
Obviously, with his auntie. I am freaking excited for the Clegane Bowl, which is the Clegane brothers actually finally duking it out.
Right.
That's one of my biggest things. I can't wait for that. I hope they actually make the fight good, if it happens, which it most likely will happen. And one of my theories, which was why the Mad King went mad.
Which is, we think is Bran doing.
Yeah, we kind of have this theory going on that Bran's going to go back there and fuck with his head, kind of like how he fucked with Hodar's head.
Right.
So I'm still, thinking there's going to be a lot more story in the past to be told.
Yeah.
Certain things.
I feel like Bran needs to be wrapped up as well. Like his story, like not who he is, but what is his
role?
His role in all of this, and is he truly like the mastermind or the architect of everything that's happening?
Which I'm thinking it is.
Yeah,
he's the one that creates the Song of Ice and Fire.
I think Bran gets stuck in a time loop, and I feel like since he knows everything, he's trying to prevent everything from happening.
Maybe,
but then he causes everything to happen, like a paradox.
Right. That could be. He could just be a walking paradox.
Yeah, and so I feel like that is what is happening to him. So yeah, that's the only thing. I don't think there's anybody else, any other mysteries, because everything came to light literally like last season. Like things were coming to light. People
to finally see how Cersei dies, because we know that she's gonna fucking die,
right?
And we all have our theory that the brother's gonna do it,
right? Because that is the prophecy.
Yeah, that prophecy we did. I don't remember the show getting into it, but I know the novels did.
Right.
She will die by the hands of her little brother, and that's why she hates Tyrion, and so on and so forth.
But also, her younger brother is also Jaime, because he was born first.
Yeah,
and he was the hand of the king, hand, blah blah blah. So it's it's very telling.
Yeah, there's a lot of things that were like, yeah, this is obviously going to go this way, but I still want to see how it'll go, because they could still throw in a few things. And isn't it fucking crazy that the show is about to end and the damn books are not finished?
Yeah, George R. Martin mentioned
George Railroad Martin.
He mentioned that he had mixed feelings about the ending, saying that like, well, he wished he had finished the books in time.
Well, shit, whose fucking fault is that?
Yeah, and so yeah, he had mixed feelings because like obviously like he is a contributor to the show, and they what I'm looking for, they ask him for advice. He's a
yeah. You're trying to say that he essentially gave them like the outline,
basically
of where his stuff was going.
He
gave him the skeleton of where his books.
He's a consultant for the show.
There you go, creative consultant
for the show, and so he lets them know what's happening. The books, I think the book came out after the episode, but the Hodor scene wasn't in the books, and that is something that is in the books or was already written in one of the books before. That
No, it hasn't. It hasn't.
That book hasn't come out yet.
Pretty much from the moment that Stannis burns his daughter, that wasn't there.
Ooh, fascinating.
The books ended at For the Watch. That's where the books ended. So there's a lot of shit.
I don't remember that part, For the Watch.
Where Jon Snow gets fucking...
Oh, when he gets stabbed.
He gets Julius Caesar.
Yeah.
So yeah, from that part on, nothing has happened that's been happening on the shows.
But I do recall that him saying that the Hodor scene is something that he was...
Yes, the Hodor scene is something that was there. The Stannis scene is something that he has too.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's all happening. And I have no doubt that he's pissed.
Yeah.
And he'll change shit up just so the books can be different.
That's true, because he has like, 2 more books left. Mm-hmm. And even though he probably consulted on the ending, he was like, you know what? With time, anything can change.
Well, his books also have a fuck ton more characters that the show's never even dived into.
Right. That now it's too late for him to even like bring it up.
In the show.
Right.
But in the books, he can spend another fucking 20 years, if he's still alive by then, making all the books he wants with all the characters. But yeah.
I wonder if he has like a successor to like finish the books if he dies.
I mean,
he has been quoted saying like, oh, he has a lot more to write and he hopes he lives for a long time. He has been taking a long time to write these books. He's been essentially writing them for like decades.
Yeah, he's 70 years old right now too.
Right. So
it takes him like 10 years to write a book.
Right. And so if he has 2 more books left or a few more books left, like that's by 80, once you die in your 70s, you don't get the, oh, you were so young speech, you know?
Right. Oh, no, he left too soon.
No, you get the, oh, okay, I get, all right.
Yeah.
You know, rest in peace.
As fucked up as that is to say, it's true.
Yeah.
It's true.
50s, you get it.
You could die in your 40s and 50s and you're like, oh, no, he still had so much life left.
Exactly. Maybe 60s. But once you get to that 70 mark, that's it.
I hope he comes out with his fucking books, man, because I started reading the books, and once I realized that it takes him too damn long, I was like, I'm not going to waste my time on this until it's all finished. Because by the time,
once you read a book, you have to wait 10 more years, and then you need a refresher.
And then exactly. I just rather read them all. When they're all finally done in some decade, I would like to start from the beginning and read all of them.
Right.
I would love to do that. But I'm not going to be doing that when each book takes 10 years.
Of course. Yeah, so it's going to be fascinating to see if he's able to release them at a faster, like, you know, at this point,
I mean,
Game of Thrones is so big, you could find someone to like help you write that book.
Yeah,
you could find someone to like who knows your work,
who knows the lore just as much as you do.
Exactly, and then you guys just spitfire ideas. And if his writing is as good as yours, just allow him to write a few pages for you.
And it's crazy because he's creative consultant for this show, obviously, right. And HBO, no doubt, is gonna do, which they already are, doing a spin-off show.
Right.
It hasn't officially been announced. It has a spin-off has been announced, but not the title or what it's gonna be about exactly.
Right.
But I'm sure he's gonna be creative consultant for this one too. And that's going to take more time off of him writing the fucking books that he's supposed to be finishing. So it's like, George, you got one job.
Yeah.
Can you at least finish it and stop getting ADD distracted?
I do think he probably needs to hire. Maybe he does hire a team of people that's helping him write.
I think he's got writer's block and he's being intimidated by the show because maybe the show's either going really good or doing stuff that maybe he didn't want to do,
and
or
maybe
didn't.
he can't live up to. At the end of the day, this is one of those
He can't live up to the
shows.
expectation.
These are, regardless of how this show ends, people are gonna fall like with mixed feelings. At the end of the day, either you're gonna hate it or love it or like
For sure.
praise it. I think it's gonna get obviously praise, but some people are gonna come away like, oh wait, this is not the ending I wanted.
Yeah, that kind of reminds me a little bit of, so Stephen King was writing this series for years called The Dark Tower. It took him so fucking long to finally finish it. When he finally finished it, it was split.
Right.
Some people liked it, some people didn't. It's going to be like that too. So check this out. He wrote Game of Thrones, the first book, in 1996. He wrote A Clash of Kings in 1993, 3 years later.
Oh, 3 years later. Okay, so it's time I skip.
Yeah. He wrote A Storm of Swords in 2000. Nice, 1 year after. And he wrote A Feast for Crows, 2005, 5 years later. And then here's the big one. He wrote A Dance with Dragons in 2011, a 6-year jump. And it's been 8 years, and the other one hasn't come out yet.
And what time did Game of Thrones come out?
The show Game of Thrones
Came out 2011.
2011. So it came out when his book, Dance with Dragons, came out.
And I can't wonder why he can't finish a book.
From when the moment the show started to when the show is over, he hasn't come out with one book. He hasn't come out with an additional book.
So literally, this dude cannot multitask.
He can't multitask.
That's it. Like,
so,
and think about it. The show came out in 2011. Obviously, they were writing it, they're producing it in 2010. He's had his hands full with the show, or at least afraid that the show is gonna take off. The show took off from the get go.
yeah.
And yeah, dude, it just
and it just gets more and more fans every year.
it kind of seems that like you're right, writer's block. He can't be that busy with the show because
No.
it's what you sit in through like the writer's room.
Yeah.
That's it.
I think it's just his creation took over, and he's like, fuck, I have no control over this right now. It's not going to be that good. It's not going to be that good. Which, of course, everyone has those doubts. But damn, dude, you got a responsibility right now.
Because I can't imagine being a creative consultant taking that much of your time. You're probably in the writer's room, and then that's it. You're not probably on set giving like lines.
No.
Actors the lines.
He's in a room full of writers, and they say shit, and he's like, that sounds good. And he goes back to his fucking trailer. Or he'll say, I don't agree with that. My character would do this. And they'll
Maybe
go,
do
okay.
it for a couple months, send into some storyboards, and call it a day.
Yeah.
But this whole... Damn, that's a long time, man.
Yep.
So, yeah, for you...
And he's got 2 more books. So
that he
it
said
says...
Yep,
it says The Winds of Winter and A Dream of Spring.
But
Those
The
are his
Winds
2
of
final
Winter
books.
is going to come out soon. It has to.
It is. It is.
So then he has technically one more book to like finish.
Who knows when Winds of Winter is actually going to come out? It's been being teased for years. Years.
That's crazy, man.
Because he's even released certain chapters for people to read online, and that was like 2 or 3 years ago. So, yeah. And he just keeps getting so fucking pissed when people talk to him about it. Yeah.
Yeah, man. I mean, if you're a Game of Thrones lover in terms of the books, man, I don't know. I don't know if you're gonna get to be able to finish that series. You know?
Yeah.
It just seems that like the way at his pace, if this book comes out next year, right, he'll be 71, I guess. And if it takes him another 8 years to be 78, he doesn't look like a healthy man to be like, you know. So hopefully he's in good spirits and he's able to like finish this, you know. Because then at the end of the day, then we're gonna have the show to be our legit ending.
Yeah. Yeah, it's gonna be crazy. I'm skimming through articles right now, and it's always him saying it'll be done soon. It'll be done soon. It's months away, and then he said it's not coming in 2018.
Man, as like a publicist or like someone who like publishes the book, like you must like the publisher.
The publisher.
Yeah, publicist. Wrong word.
Yeah, the publisher must
The
be like,
publisher, man, must be so angry.
Yeah. But here's the thing, though. When the show is over, people are still going to be like, damn, now what? So if he can release the book right when the show is over, right when the final episode airs, it's going to make so much fucking money.
Yeah, at this point, I mean, honestly, at this point, like, he's probably just swimming in money already.
He absolutely is.
He probably
swimming in
gets a
money.
cut from merchandising, from the show.
I'm sure.
He gets a cut for everything, probably, you know?
He's a known name. He's got a fucking Funko.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if not, he can always, like, double as a Santa Claus, like, you know,
right.
impersonator.
Yeah, I'm sure it'll be fine.
Winter is coming, you know?
Yeah, and then him beheading dolls and going, yeah, the stuff of nightmares.
So I guess that's a wrap on today's episode, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. Follow us on social media. We have a Facebook. We have an Instagram. We do reviews on our Facebook and Instagrams of some things that we've seen and watched. We recently reviewed Wreck-It Ralph 2 on our social media feeds. It's pretty much things we never got around to it, so we're just throwing it now because we took a big hiatus break.
Mm-hmm.
So during that break, we watched a few things, and now we're just slowly like releasing them in written form. If you want to check that out. All right, so catch us again next week, and see you guys later.
Bye-bye.